What's happening, everybody? Share some thoughts I've been pondering on based on some things, some questions, some people. Well, one particular question first that some people I've known for a few years have asked me lately. So my wife and I have two daughters, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. Uh, for the first 6 to 9 months of both of their lives, I kept them at home for the most part. Our first daughter was born. I was working third shift, so I would get off, come home, I worked third shift Saturday, Sunday, Monday night, 9 to 9. I would get off, come home, keep my daughter while my wife go to work. Of course, during the days that I was off, I had her. I would go out a lot, take her with me, so forth and so on. When our second daughter was born, it was during the pandemic, so of course, I kept her in the house. Some people have asked us, man, we don't see you out with your daughters anymore. And they asked me why. Someone shared this publicly. Annabelle, our 4-year-old, yes. Everywhere I went, she was with me. Yes, absolutely. If I went to a meeting, she was there. Had her in the car seat. If I went out to a lunch meeting with some people, she was with me. Because of the situation, we didn't have childcare, so forth and so on. It's a lot of people would say, yes, that's it. But then with now that she's 4, I sit back and think, like, man, I wish I'd have done some things different. Let me explain to you what I mean. I know she was young, so at that age, she sit in the car seat and sleep and so forth and so on. But my mind at this point got wrapped around not depriving our children of being children. Now, all of us have different life situations, in our jobs and so forth and so on may require us to make certain adjustments. But I was in a situation where I could have opted out of these meetings. And in hindsight, now I look back and wish I would have, because it will. And my reason for this is not robbing our children of the experience of being children. I know a college professor that, I was doing some work for him, and he said, man, you should have your child with me. He didn't know me, so he didn't know I used to take Annabella, our 4-year-old, with me everywhere. But I told him, I said, no, I don't do that anymore. And he gave his reason why I should, and I gave his reason why I shouldn't. My reason why I shouldn't, one of them was my daughters have an identity, and they have a calling on their life. At this point in their lives, at 4 and 2 years old, from the time they were born up until now, one of my responsibilities and one of the responsibilities of my wife, their mother, is to study them, pay attention to them, and start finding out what they have been called to do. Not bring them into spaces where I'm doing things and they end up becoming what I'm doing, because that's what they're around most of the time. Because in the first 10 years of a child's life, they're soaking up. So what they retain, what they're around most of the time, typically molds and forms them into who they're going to be. Now they can become successful, but in the midst of that, are they becoming who they were designed to be? Even with my wife, the initiative, the fatherhood initiative that I push, doesn't necessarily mean she gets on board. Now she's on board because the initiative that I push will continue to be successful as long as my home is successful. The minute my home is not successful, then that initiative that I push will not be successful. And why do I say that? This is a sidebar. Because my concept of fatherhood is not fathers separated from the family, but fathers united from the family. I have a narrative. You want successful communities? Do we have to have successful families? We don't have successful families, that we won't have successful communities. And I buy by design, not exceptional preference. The design is man, woman, children in the home forever. The marriage vow to death do you part. That's the design, the original design. And I don't try to alter that to fit what I may have conjured up in my own mind. I stick to the design. The same with my children. My children are designed at an early age to experience childhood at its fullness. So that means I have to sacrifice things so they can have the full experience of being a child. Playing on the floor, going to the playground, da 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 da, outside, swimming, whatever the case may be.